Good afternoon, sports fans. It's post-sports writer Ryan Bassesi here at West Rowan High School, where the Falcons had an exciting 31-27 win over Davie County Friday night. It was another great Friday night of high school football. North Rowan improved to 2-0 for the first time since 1998. East Rowan got its first win against Salisbury. It was a great night. Unfortunately, preceded by a very somber Friday morning. As most of you know, post-sports editor Ronnie Gallagher passed away early Friday. Me and assistant sports editor Mike London would like to thank everybody for sending us tweets and phone calls and emails and the like in light of Ronnie's death. And the best thing we can do is try to honor Ronnie and continue the great coverage that he implemented in Salisbury Post Sports. So today we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk to some West players, and we're going to talk to West Rowan coach Scott Young. So let's go find Coach Young. We're here with Coach Young, and West Rowan experienced a very exciting 31-27 win Friday against Davie County. Coach, given all the storylines going into the game, it was an exciting game just as far as itself. I mean, just your thoughts coming away from Friday night and everything. You look back at it, what you remember.
Well, usually anytime West Rowan and Davie County plays on the South Yadkin River rivalry, that's a tongue twister, usually that turns into a very good game. And I think with the exception of 1 year, it has always been, nip and tuck, a touchdown or so. And this year was the same. I mean, we had a 10-point lead in the second half. They stormed back to take a lead, and then we get it at the, about midway through the fourth quarter and hang on to the lead. Very exciting game throughout. Also, the pregame festivities we had in remembrance of Ronnie, that was special, and I'm so glad we got a win. With Jack coming down and being on our sideline and being able to give him the game ball. Nobody wants a presentation of a game ball after a loss, so it was awesome to get that W.
With your leading running back Deshaun Reddick out, how big was it to get contribution from Keos Weeks and Tyler Kennedy in the special teams game?
Well, there's no doubt about it. With TK having over 200 return yards, that was probably the difference in the game. And not only Keos, but we had 4 offensive starters out. So 4 of our 11 offensive starters were out, and those guys all did a great job picking up the torch and carrying on.
Was that your idea to give Jack the game ball after the game? Was that something you had kind of determined before the game?
Well, no, because you got to win first. Mm-hmm. But seeing him on the sideline and seeing how our team responded and kind of everybody hugging him up, loving him up, as soon as we won, I think I told Coach Didoming to go get the game ball so we could present it to him.
Mm-hmm. This week's game with Salisbury, you guys have had their number. Seems like a long time. What are your thoughts coming into this week's game?
Well, it's tough, it's that old wounded animal syndrome, and animals become more dangerous when they're wounded. Well, Salisbury's wounded. They're 0-2, so they're backed into a corner. It's not a must-win for their team for the season, but it's close to a must-win. So we got to realize that the team we see on tape versus Carson and the team we see on tape versus East Rowan very well may not be the team that we see Friday night at their place.
Harrison Balcom, 2 games in as a starter at quarterback. Just your assessment of kind of how he's handled it and what's going on with him, I guess.
He is a great, courageous competitor. He is playing with a lot of guts and a lot of courage, like I said. He is messing up some things. There's no doubt about it. There's some room for improvement. There's no doubt about it. But I like the toughness he's bringing to our team right now.
Mm-hmm. Coach Scott Young. All right, we're here with West Rowan seniors Tyler Kennedy and Keos Weeks. We'll talk to Tyler first. Tyler, congratulations on the win. That punt return you had, 70 yards early on in the game. Go back to that play and kind of what you remember from that play and how it progressed from start to finish.
Well, first when I caught the ball, I looked down. I didn't really see an opening, but I saw my teammates coming in to make blocks. And so I just kind of slowed my roll a little bit and slowed down and waited. And then Nick Collins, he made the block I needed. And then when I just went up the sideline, I guess they couldn't catch me.
What was it like winning a game like that? It was back and forth, and it was for your first win, and obviously with the emotion going on here Friday night. I mean, what was it like to come out?
Oh, man, it was special. It felt real good. It was a win we needed. I mean, it was an emotional win with Ronnie and all that. It was really – so it was just nice to get a win, and then with that type of atmosphere that it created, it made it feel even that more special.
Keos Weeks had, 2 touchdowns the other night. 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards, 142 yards on 25 carries. Did you say that's your best game you've ever had?
Yes, sir.
go back to the touchdown runs and kind of how they went from start to finish. What you can remember from those plays.
Well, first half, I had a kind of tough first half, and my coach was telling me, my running back coach was telling me it's gonna open up. He was telling me it was gonna open up. I read my line, read my blocks, and got in the open field, just scored.
Did you feel like an added responsibility now that Reddick wasn't able to play, that you kind of had to step up and kind of fill his role?
Oh, yes, sir.
What do you see for yourself this year as far as goals for the team and for yourself?
Hopefully to get a state championship this year and finished being one of the best runners in the county.
What do you see as far as this week's game with Salisbury? What do you see as important?
They got a big defense. All we do is come with our game plan. Everybody do their assignments, and it should be a good game.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. All right, so we've heard from the Falcons this week after experiencing their first win Friday night over Davie. This week's a little unusual with 3 teams off. Carson, East, and South all have their bye week. There's a big intra-county game with West Rowan taking on Salisbury. That one's at Ludwig Stadium. North Rowan is making the big trip to Statesville, so that'll be an interesting game for the Cavaliers. And A.L. Brown is taking on Weddington at home. So we'll be all there at all those games, and you can read coverage of those games Saturday and next week in the Post. So thanks to Sundrop for sponsoring the show, and see you next week.
Get hot today. Grab an ice cold Sundrop and show us how you drop it.